This is CBS News New York.
More problems for I-80 in New Jersey after weeks of structural problems. Another sinkhole opens up. Drivers fed up and residents concerned as a timeline for repairs now shifts.
And big news on congestion pricing in the city. President Trump's federal deadline to cut the commuter tax inching closer. What's next for drivers as they hit the roads tomorrow morning?
And pull out your brackets. March Madness is finally here. St. John's is getting ready to play in the first round today for the all-or-nothing tournament.
Time now, just before 5 o'clock. Good morning on this Thursday, March 20th. I'm Chris Raggi.
And I'm Mary Calvi. And take a look at your countdown clock as we get ready for the first day of spring with just seconds to go. And take a live look outside in Central Park. It's dark right now, but soon we'll be seeing the sun rise over budding flowers.
Mary, as I like to sing, it's the final countdown. Our meteorologist Tony Sadiku watching that countdown with us with more on your first official day of spring with his first alert forecast right now. Hi, Tony.
Are we going to do this countdown together?
Yeah.
30, 20, 28.
Where's the confetti, the balloons? Let's go.
We've waited months for this, and you know we all love having four seasons around here, but spring just feels special. In fact, meteorologist Justin Lewis, as you know, managed to capture some photos in the park. Excited to show you a lot of flowers already blooming. And as I look at my countdown clock, we've got 10, 8, 7, 6. There you go. 5:01, the spring equinox, which, as you know, it basically just means equal day, equal night. We've gained about 3 hours. And there you go. It's officially spring, everybody. So happy spring. We've gained about 3 hours of daylight since the winter solstice, and we've got more daylight to gain as we approach summer. And of course, then it's that countdown that begins. But I got to tell you, on this first day of spring, got some active weather to talk about this evening, late tonight, as we've been talking about. We've upgraded this just because we are seeing higher confidence that we've got a cold front that's going to move in, bring in a round of moderate to heavy rain, could lead to some potting and delayed travel. See, most of this gone by the time you're heading out to work tomorrow morning, but if you are out late tonight, want to give you the first alert on that. While we wait for the rain, moisture is moving in, and if you've been outside already, you could tell it's got a gray and dreary look. Fog is a concern parts of the area. It's not locally dense at this point, but it's certainly patchy in nature and could slow you down. Temperatures are doing okay. We've got numbers in the 30s and 40s, and there's your day planner as temperatures will climb. So the radar right now, as you can see, is doing just fine. Quiet weather, but we will track that round of rain as it moves in. We'll take you through it hour by hour coming up in just a bit. But right now I want to say happy spring and check in with Guy Stanier in your first alert traffic. Hey, Guy.
Good morning, Tony. Well, the problems in Morris County, New Jersey have been going on for weeks, and they just got worse. 80 is now closed in both directions at the junction with Route 15 after another sinkhole opened up on the roadway. Natalie Dudridge is live in Wharton, and we'll have more in just a moment. We have some subway issues in Queens. The 7 train running with delays in both directions due to signal work along the line. And taking a live look outside at what we can see at the George Washington Bridge. These are the conditions you are facing. Lots of fog out there, so give yourself plenty of extra time and be careful behind the wheel. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Okay, Guy, thanks. Developing this morning, drivers in New Jersey will have to watch for more detours on I-80 after, as Guy just mentioned, another sinkhole opened up on the busy roadway.
This marks the third sinkhole in 3 months. The collapse happened as crews were working on repairs. Natalie Dudridge joins us live from Wharton with a look. Natalie.
Chris, Mary, good morning. Well, that's right. If this stretch of I-80 is part of your commute, you'll want to leave extra time. We are already seeing issues this morning. Now, I want to point out, though, where we are standing here, this detour, this is exit 34B, the same detour that's already been in place for weeks because of those earlier sinkholes you mentioned. But now, because of this latest issue, westbound traffic is also being rerouted, with drivers forced off at exit 34A onto Route 15 North. Chopper 2 overhead shows this sinkhole that officials say is 15 feet by 15 feet that opened right in the median. Transportation officials say the hole opened up during a drilling operation, and last night traffic just came to a standstill for miles. All lanes on I-80 near Wharton shut down, both eastbound and westbound. This is just the latest problem, the third sinkhole along this stretch since February. They're being blamed on abandoned mine shafts collapsing under the roadway. And then on top of this traffic nightmare, some residents in a nearby apartment complex say that they have started noticing some new cracks in their building. They're worried that it's connected in some way. We spoke to Wharton's mayor about all these issues.
It's a federal road, a state road. But that being said, we have to deal with all the aftermath that comes around here, and that's what we've been doing.
It has been sheer chaos. The traffic is just horrific. Everyone's impatient.
Now, Governor Phil Murphy previously declared a state of emergency to speed up federal funding for these repairs. These existing sinkhole fixes were already expected to take at least 2 more months. And now with this new collapse, that timeline could be even longer. So right now, still not clear just how much this will set things back. But one thing's for sure, drivers should brace for extra backups here this morning. Chris and Mary, we're live in New Jersey. Natalie Dudridge, CBS News, New York.
Natalie, thank you. Yes, avoid. And we have been on top of the problems plaguing I-80 and its impact to the community. You can find all of our reporting at CBSNewYork.com.
5:05 tomorrow, the MTA is facing a federal deadline to put an end to congestion pricing in the city.
MTA holding firm, but opponents of the plan are calling on the city to comply with the deadline. Elijah Westbrook covers transportation for us. And Elijah, so where does the city stand right now with congestion pricing?
Well, as far as tomorrow's concerned, business as usual. So you will still have to pay that $9 fee or $2.25 if you enter the so-called congestion relief zone. We know at this time they say that until a federal judge mandates the termination of the program, again, drivers will still have to pay to enter south of 60th Street. Now, we know this morning at 11:30, New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer is set to hold a press conference in Fort Lee calling on New York to stop the program. The congressman, who has been vocal about ending congestion pricing, says he will announce new action if the state doesn't comply, calling it an illegal money grab. Now, transit officials say since the program's launch, around 1 million fewer vehicles have entered the zone. They also say buses to the outer boroughs and New Jersey are moving faster, saving riders in some cases as much as 10 minutes during their commutes. Now, the MTA says the program is expected to generate around $500 million a year during its first 3 years, $700 million per year after the first toll increase, and close to $1 billion a year after that. Now, the matter still remains in court. The MTA filed a lawsuit citing that the federal government doesn't have the legal authority to stop the plan because it was already enacted into law. The lawsuit has yet to be decided, and until a judge rules otherwise, well, the MTA and governor say the cameras will remain on. Now, coming up in our next half hour, we'll have more on what could happen if the city doesn't turn those tolling readers off. Chris and Mary, I will join you at the desk and we'll elaborate more on that aspect. Back to you.
Elijah, we look forward to that. All right, 13 people are reportedly injured after a fire breaks out at the Brownsville houses in Brooklyn. Firefighters say it took nearly an hour to get the flames under control. Fire started just after 7 last night on Osborne Street and Blake Avenue. At least 9 of the injured were taken to the hospital. They are all expected to be okay. Cause of the fire is still under investigation.
5:07 right now. New twist in the arrest of the Columbia graduate and Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil. A federal judge here in Manhattan has ordered his case moved closer to home. Back on March 8th, the green card holder was arrested at campus housing, then taken to Elizabeth, New Jersey, and then Louisiana. In a new ruling, a judge says Khalil's case should be heard in New Jersey, not New York, since New Jersey is where he was detained at the time his attorneys filed a petition.
There's going to be a dark out period of time while he's moved, but eventually a bond hearing will be had. Ultimately, the issue here still remains the same. Is this constitutionally protected speech, or is this conduct that is aligned with Hamas and therefore against our national interest?
The Trump administration says Khalil led activities on campus aligned with Hamas and wants him deported. Khalil's attorneys say it's an attack on free speech and have filed a motion to have him released on bail.
Meanwhile, Columbia University facing a deadline today to decide whether to give in to President Trump's demands in an effort to get $400 million in federal funding restored. In a letter, the Trump administration asking the school for policy changes, including a mask ban on campus and undergraduate admissions reform. It also told the college to place its Middle Eastern, South Asian, and African Studies department into academic receivership, which means oversight from a professor or administrator outside of the department. In a letter to students, Columbia's interim president said the school will, quote, engage in constructive dialogue, but will not waver from our principles and values of academic freedom.
5:09, an update now on the White House administration. CBS News has learned President Trump is expected to sign an executive order today to dismantle the Department of Education. The White House has already taken steps to slash the agency, including laying off more than 1,300 employees. However, shutting down the DOE would require an act of Congress. We'll have much more on the story come up at 5:30.
All right, two of the best basketball days of the year are happening today and tomorrow. March Madness is finally here, and tonight St. John's will play Omaha up in Providence, Rhode Island. Now, this year, St. John's is the #2 seed in the tournament in their region. Their road to the Final Four in San Antonio is uncertain, but if history holds true, they do have the map. Our Otis Livingston has a preview.
It's a big day here in Providence. It's the first round of the men's NCAA tournament. Most of St. John's roster has never been to the big dance, but their head coach, Rick Pitino, he's been there, done that. 2 national titles, 7 Final Fours, 6 different programs in the tournament. So the players will have to lean on his experience, because from my experience, the lights are brighter. The game feels bigger. It's not just a normal matchup. And you can catch that matchup between St. John's and Omaha tonight at 9:45, followed by our live post-game coverage from here in Providence.
Just so exciting. Come on, St. John's. Let's get you over to Tony Sadiku in our virtual studio on this first day of spring. 9 minutes in, huh?
Yeah, Mary, and this is another reason why we love spring, right? March Madness is here. And I'll tell you, even though winter is technically in our rearview mirror now, 9 minutes in, well, our coolest day of the week is actually ahead of us. Why? We'll get this cold front moving in. You see the rain. We do have this rain coming in. It's the first little weather day as we track it. I want to give you the quick look at the timeline, because we think as early as this evening, we've got rain developing through our western suburbs. Overnight, the rain becomes widespread. It's moderate to heavy. The winds pick up. And then behind it, we get into Friday. It's a bright finish to the week. But yeah, the winds and the chill arrive. We'll have details on the numbers take you into the weekend, too, in a moment. 5:11, another traffic update. Hey, Guy.
Good morning, Tony. Well, the problems get worse in Morris County, New Jersey. Route 80 remains closed in both directions. This is at the junction with Route 15 after another sinkhole opened up. Earlier, it was just closed eastbound, but now the westbound side is closed off as well. Stick with routes 46 or Route 10 to get around this. We have some subway issues in Queens. The 7 train running with delays in both directions due to signal work along the line. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Guy, thanks. It's just about 5:12 right now. Coming up, the only Planned Parenthood in Manhattan closing its doors, what it means for 18,000 patients who need care.
And improving our air travel safety, the new measures added by the Federal Aviation Administration that could make our skies safer.